I know when it comes to working on cars, working on the electrical is especially a pain. But if you've ever had to work around a connector that's damaged, whether it's crushed or corroded, instead of just hacking that wiring up and just doing some jumpers with wires, what we're going to look at today is making a connection with a Deutsch connector like the factory does. Once you see how this works, I think you'll want one in your toolbox. I'll show you how the connectors work, how the crimpers work. And if you're familiar with my channel, you'll know what this is about. This is a 65 Ford Ranchero with a 5.3 LS out of a Silverado. I'll be using this set, the crimp set and the connectors, to integrate the aftermarket wiring harness into this car, along with the painless wiring setup that I have that's going to go for the body of the car. So I'm going to be putting this set to use quite heavily. Here we're going to take a look at the connectors. There are several connectors. This does not come with this kit here. If you've ever worked on anything that has these connectors, you're going to recognize these just by glancing at them. The gray with the orange seals on them. We're getting ready to make a connector. I'm going to show you how to use these tools, and then once we have the connectors made, I'm going to show you how to disassemble them. We are ready to make a 2-pin connector. What I'm going to be doing is taking this 16-2 wire, and I'm just going to probably just start here and make a male and female side. This stripper is going to be in a video coming up on a different crimper from Crimp. Before we get going too far, like I said, this is a 2-pin connector. This is going to be the female side. This is the male side. And these are the barrels. This is a female barrel. And this is the male. And obviously they're going to fit like this once they're in their respective housing. And then the kit also comes with this, which is a blank, and this allows you to, if you want to use this for only one wire, then you can put the blank in there. I just want to show you that. In this crimper set here, we have multiple different sets or crimpers. The crimper set that I am using is for the 14, 16, and 18 gauge. These other ones, this one here is for 12 gauge. This one is for 20 and 22 gauge. And these are the weather pack crimpers. I don't have any weather pack connectors to show you how those work, so I'm just going to focus on the Deutsch. First thing we need to do is get this wire ready. I've already removed the, about 2 inches off of the outer insulation. And these crimpers also are from Crimp. They are in another kit that I'm going to be reviewing here after this video. So 1/4 of an inch is what is recommended to be stripped. And this side we're going to do the male side. And one thing I also want to show you is the crimper. To get the crimper set up, you just want to drop it in from this side, and this side adjusts the tension. So once we have this in here and we're pushing on it, we just want this to be flush when we crimp it. And this is a force setting. If the force needs to be higher, then you're going to move it lower, and if it needs to be less, then you move it up to the 1. From 1 to 7. 1 being the lowest, 7 being the most. So we're going to go ahead and make this first crimp here. We got the wire in, and we're just going to squeeze it, pull it out. Looks good. Now there is a little hole, hopefully you can see it right here. And that just allows us to look in and make sure our wire is past that hole, which it is. We'll go ahead and insert this into the crimper. There we go. We've made 2 successful crimps. Again, we're just gonna slide the barrel over the wire, slide the connector into here, squeeze it. Got a good crimp there. Let's poke these through. Listen for the click. Heard the click. And just make sure that whenever you're making multiple connectors that you're making them standard where your wire colors are going to match up. So when you go to do this other side, we want to make sure that the red meets up with the red and the black meets up with the black. So here we'll push those in. Now that we have both of the connectors on, we've made sure that the red wire and the red wire line up and the black wire and the black wire. We need to put in the retention pieces. So the reason for these is they are going to help retain those pins so they don't wiggle loose. While we're here, I'll show you what is making this waterproof. And that's going to be these silicone plugs right here that the wires fit through. And we have them on both sides. And then we have this silicone seal that's going to seal very nicely here. On the male side, we have this green retainer. And I don't know if you can see down in there, but we're going to put it in this orientation here. It's going to push the locking tabs up toward the pins and help lock those in. Now the pin removal tool, or the removal tool that comes with this, has this little hook on it, and it's designed for removal by coming in to this little groove. You turn it and then you're going to pull on it to remove it from here if you need to. One nice thing that I've realized with using these is if we have, let's say we have power windows that we're going to add to a vehicle, and we have two wires going into the door, and we decide that we want to add power locks and we need two more wires. Well, we can disassemble this and then put a 4-pin plug and just add two more wires to it, to the circuit, so, or to the plug, to make it easier for disassembly at a later time. So here, we're going to go ahead and put these retainers in, and you can kind of see the orientation here, how it's going to go in. So we'll push that. We'll push that in until it snaps. And this is a little bit tedious, but in the end, this is going to be a better product than just having butt connectors. There's definitely nothing wrong with that, but this is going to be a better connection. Now, if you look down in here, you can see that it is seated pretty close, but for removal purposes, I want to be able to take this apart and show you how to take this completely back apart. On the female side, this is going to be the retainer, and again, we're going to be kind of working this because it's going to be pushing those plastic tabs up against the retention mechanism that's on these barrels, and we're just trying to get down underneath them. So one thing I did have to do is grab this hook tool, can pull up on the terminals, allow it to slide in like that, and then from here, that's connected. We'll go ahead and seat this all the way so I can show you how this connector goes all the way together. Okay, now you can see we're fully seated in here. We're going to connect these plugs. Makes a very nice connection. And now I'll show you how to disassemble it. I'll start with this one because it's easier. So we're going to take this tool that came with the kit. We're going to go right in between the orange and the gray plastic. So it's going to be between the seal and the solid plastic piece. So now we're trying to find the pin retention. Here we go. That one's done. And like I said earlier, if we wanted to add a wire, then we could make this a 3-wire connector just by inserting these two and then adding a 3rd wire. And that's one thing I really like about these, is in the future you can retrofit your electronic system to accommodate as many wires as you need. So we'll get this retainer out of here, and like I said, we're going to use this hook tool. We're going to get down in here in that little groove there, turn just a little bit, and I'm going to pull. And this does take quite a bit of force, and I think the bigger the part, or the bigger the connector, probably the easier this is going to be. But it is kind of difficult. And if I'm doing this wrong and you're watching this video going, oh my gosh, he doesn't know what he's doing, please feel free to put in the comments where I'm going wrong. So we kind of mar this up a little bit when, or at least I did, when removing this. But I'm going to put, well, so you can see I kind of marred this up a little bit, removing it. We'll move on to removing the wires from the plug. This little silicone piece comes out with it sometimes. To put that back, just put it in just like that. I'm gonna remove these now. So we're back to square one. So if you ever have to service the Deutsch connectors, these are much more serviceable, in my opinion, than some of the other connectors. I'm going to go ahead and reassemble this. That. We'll put these back in. Almost forgot this retainer. Let's do a quick overview on this connector. Like I said, we've got the seal here, and here. These, once you have this put together, you want to make sure it's not coming apart, which we already checked that on the table when we made the connections. And while making these, you want to make sure that the length of insulation you pull off is the right size. I went a little bit larger than I should have, but it also is falling in behind this silicone seal, so I'm not too worried about that exposed wire. And until you're fully connected, you want to make sure you keep all the terminals clean. Maybe you can hear how tight this seal is. That lets you know that water is not getting in here, gases, any fluids that you don't want to get to these connections should be outside of this connector because of the seal. This is why I believe you're going to want this in your toolbox. If you're in the heavy duty equipment repair, if you're in automotive repair, or if you're just a hobbyist like me, where you want to build your own harnesses for your cars, or any other time that you need to make electrical connections, they have a reliable, serviceable connector.